There comes a moment in every journey where you must stop walking forward and take a long, hard look at what you've been carrying. You see, it's not always the path ahead that's difficult. It's the weight on your back that slows you down. That weight is often your past. If you do not clean your past, you will never be able to move forward. The past is not just something that happened. It is something that stays if you let it. It lodges itself in your memory, in your behaviors, in your fears, in your relationships. And unless you confront it, unless you purify it, it will rule you silently from the shadows. The past is a powerful force. It shapes the way we see the world, influences the choices we make, and sometimes, without realizing it, it holds us captive. Many people walk through life thinking they have moved on, but in reality, they are still dragging yesterday's pain, disappointment, and failure like a silent shadow behind them. Until you make the decision to clean your past, it will continue to seep into your present and shape your future. Cleaning the past is not about denying what happened. It's not about pretending that the pain didn't hurt or that the mistakes didn't matter. It's about facing those moments with honesty. It's about accepting what was without letting it define what will be. The past doesn't have to be your prison. It can become your platform, but only if you're willing to do the inner work required to cleanse it. Running through the park, you must begin by acknowledging the things you've suppressed. Maybe it's a broken relationship you never healed from. Running through the park. Maybe it's a decision you regret or a dream you gave up on. These fragments of your past don't disappear just because you've buried them. In fact, the longer you ignore them, the more they manifest in your present life, in your fears, your relationships, your behavior, and your mindset. Unresolved pain becomes a filter through which you experience everything. To clean your past, running to the park, you must take time to understand it. Why do you react a certain way in moments of conflict? Why do you fear commitment, success, or trust? Often, the answer lies in a memory you've left unprocessed. Healing begins when you give yourself permission to look back, not to dwell, but to learn, not to blame, but to reclaim your power. Part of cleaning the past also means forgiveness. This doesn't mean you accept the wrongs or erase the betrayal. It means you no longer let it poison your peace. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to others. It is a liberation you give yourself. The moment you forgive is the moment you stop giving your past power over your present. This process takes strength. It takes stillness. It takes courage. But once you start cleaning your inner world, something powerful begins to shift. Your mind becomes clearer. Your heart becomes lighter. New possibilities begin to emerge, and you no longer see the future through the cracked lens of the past. You begin to respond to life rather than react from pain. You don't need to carry it all. You don't need to live every day replaying what hurt you. You have the right to begin again. But new beginnings require clean ground. Just like a painter needs a fresh canvas to create a new masterpiece, you need a clear mind and open heart to step into the next chapter of your life. Let the past teach you, but don't let it trap you. Clean it, release it, and allow yourself the freedom to truly move forward. Many people believe that time alone heals wounds, but the truth is, time only buries them deeper unless you choose to bring them to light. The past does not simply fade away on its own. It lingers, it whispers, it shapes your thoughts, habits, and emotions until you decide to take responsibility for your healing. Avoiding the past doesn't erase it, it empowers it. What you do not confront will continue to confront you in different forms throughout your life. Cleaning your past is an intentional act. It requires you to sit with your story, with the parts you are proud of and the parts you wish you could rewrite. But that discomfort is not your enemy. It is your guide. It points you toward the places within yourself that need understanding, compassion, and release. Each memory, each moment of pain or regret is not there to punish you. It is there to offer you insight. But insight only comes to those who are willing to pause and reflect. You see, many people build walls around their past, thinking it will protect them, but what it really does is isolate them from themselves. They become emotionally unavailable, guarded, or overly reactive. These patterns are not personality traits, they are symptoms of unclean wounds. And you can't truly love, succeed, or grow while those wounds bleed beneath the surface. When you begin to clean your past, you start to notice the difference between a reaction and a response. A reaction is automatic. It's driven by unresolved emotions. A response is conscious. It's shaped by understanding and wisdom. The more you clean your past, the more self-aware you become. You stop repeating toxic cycles. You stop blaming others. You begin to choose better for yourself, for your peace, for your future. Process isn't glamorous. It's often quiet and internal. It happens in moments of solitude when you finally allow yourself to feel what you've been avoiding. It might come through journaling, therapy, meditation, or simply honest self-talk. But through each layer you peel back, you gain clarity. You begin to realize that the pain you carried was never meant to stay with you forever. It was meant to show you something about yourself, about life, about growth. And once you clean it, you don't just feel lighter. You become more powerful. You're no longer living on the defense. You're no longer controlled by what you didn't say or what you didn't do. You're no longer shaped by your past. You're shaping your life by the decisions you make now, from a place of freedom, not fear. The past only has the power you give it. You can either let it be the reason you stay stuck or the reason you rise higher. Cling your past is not about perfection, it's about transformation. And transformation begins the moment you stop running, turn around, and face what's been holding you back. Only then can you truly move forward. There is a quiet strength that comes from those who have done the inner work of cleaning their past. They walk differently, not with arrogance, but with peace. Their eyes hold clarity, their words carry depth, and their presence brings calm. Why? Because they have faced their shadows. They have sat in their own silence and they have chosen to heal rather than hide. This is the gift of inner cleansing. It frees you from chaos and brings you into alignment with your true self. When you don't clean your past, you end up projecting it onto everyone around you. You begin to see betrayal in people who mean you no harm. You fear abandonment even when you are loved. You sabotage good opportunities because you still feel unworthy. The past becomes a pair of tinted glasses through which you see the world. It distorts reality. And if you're not careful, it will convince you that pain is your only story. But it doesn't have to be. Healing is not just about feeling better. It's about seeing clearly. You cannot grow in life if your perspective is fogged by the past. Clarity is what gives you direction. Without it, you move in circles, confuse temporary distractions for real purpose, and keep asking why the same lessons keep appearing in different situations. But the answer is always the same. What you ignore repeats. What you avoid controls you. What you confront transforms you. Cleaning your past also helps you take full ownership of your life. You no longer blame others for your unhappiness. You stop waiting for apologies that may never come. You begin to realize that your healing is no one else's responsibility but your own. And in that realization lies incredible power, because it means your future is also in your hands. Letting go of the past doesn't mean you forget. It means you choose peace over pain. It means you learn from the experience and carry the wisdom, not the wound. You keep the lesson, but leave the burden behind. That is the essence of true strength, not holding on, but knowing when to release. To clean the past is to reclaim your inner space. Imagine your mind as a home. Would you invite new guests into a place cluttered with old furniture, broken memories, and dust-covered emotions? No. You clean it, restore it, make it fresh. The same is true for your inner world. The clearer and more open it is, the more beauty, love, purpose can enter. This journey of inner cleansing may take time, but every step is worth it. Every honest conversation with yourself, every tear shed in solitude, every moment of self-reflection. It's all part of building a stronger, clearer, and freer version of you. You are not what you've been through. You are what you choose to become. And it all begins when you decide that the past has taken enough. And now it's your time to move forward. Progress in life demands more than just movement. It demands alignment. And alignment cannot exist where there is inner clutter. You might be pushing forward, setting goals, chasing dreams. But if the weight of unresolved memories, guilt, resentment, or shame is still clinging to your heart, every step forward will feel twice as hard. That's why cleaning your past isn't optional, it's essential. It's the difference between running with chains and walking with freedom. Many people mistake avoidance for strength. They think not thinking about the past is the same as overcoming it. But what you avoid does not disappear. It waits. It waits in your habits, in your relationships, in your emotions. One small trigger, one difficult moment, and suddenly the pain you thought was gone comes rushing back. This is the truth. Time doesn't heal what you never faced. Healing begins with awareness, and awareness begins when you stop running from yourself. To clean the past, running through the park, you must first acknowledge where you've been hurt and where you've hurt others. It's not an easy process. It requires humility. It requires vulnerability. It means admitting that some of your choices were made from fear, anger, or insecurity. It's in this raw honesty that you start to grow. You start to peel back the layers and uncover who you really are beneath the scars and shame. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools in this process. And it often starts with yourself. You must forgive yourself for the times you didn't know better, for the times you stayed too long, for the times you gave too little or too much. This self-forgiveness clears the inner space where self-worth can begin to grow. Without it, you'll constantly punish yourself through missed opportunities and sabotaged relationships. Another vital part of cleaning the past is letting go of the need for justice or closure from others. Some people will never apologize. Some truths will never be fully known. And that's okay. Your healing is not dependent on their remorse. It's dependent on your release. Running through the park, when you decide that your peace matters more than carrying the weight of resentment, that's when true healing begins. Inner peace is not found by escaping your past, but by transforming your relationship with it. When you can look back without pain, running through the park, when your past no longer controls your emotional state, that's when you know it's been cleaned. It becomes a chapter you've learned from, not a wound you live in. This isn't about rushing the process. It's about being intentional with your growth. Take the time. Sit in stillness. Write it out. Talk it out. Reflect deeply. And slowly you'll notice the shift. The grip of the past loosens. The anxiety fades. The mind quiets. You'll begin to make decisions from wisdom, not wounds. And the moment you do, you'll realize moving forward isn't just about the future. It's about no longer being held hostage by the past. That is where freedom begins. When you carry the past without cleaning it, you don't just burden your mind, you burden your spirit. That invisible weight affects your energy, your motivation, your focus. It seeps into how you speak to yourself, how you treat others, and how you show up in the world. It's like trying to pour fresh water into a cup that's still filled with old, stagnant liquid. No matter how much good comes your way, if your internal container is still tainted, everything becomes contaminated. This is why inner cleansing is not just emotional work. It is spiritual hygiene. Life keeps moving forward, whether you heal or not. But the quality of your journey depends on what you're willing to confront and let go of. Every time you avoid dealing with what hurt you, you give it power. You give it permission to live rent-free in your mind and sabotage your peace. Running through the park. You think you're protecting yourself by forgetting, but you're actually building invisible prisons around your heart. Running through the park. What if the version of yourself you dream of becoming is on the other side of the pain you've been avoiding? The park. What if your next breakthrough requires you to break open the locked doors within? Cleaning your past is the process of unlocking those doors, not to relive the pain, but to release it. To finally say, you don't get to control me anymore. I choose freedom. This freedom doesn't mean erasing your history. Out running through the park, your past will always be part of your story, but it should never be the author of your future. It's time to take the pen back. It's time to shift from victim to creator, from wounded to wise, from burdened to balanced. That shift begins with taking responsibility, not for what happened, but for how you choose to respond from this point forward. You may feel scared to revisit those memories. That's normal. But growth often begins where your comfort zone ends. Every emotion you've suppressed is a message that was never heard. When you finally listen, you begin to understand. And with understanding comes release. You stop judging yourself. You stop asking, why me? And begin asking, run the park. What did I learn? That is maturity, that is healing, that is cleaning. Rudel, you'll notice how your energy changes once the inner baggage is gone. You'll feel lighter, not just emotionally, but physically. Your sleep improves. Your anxiety lessens. Your confidence strengthens. Because when the past is no longer in your way, you become present. Presence is power. You start to live from awareness, not autopilot. From purpose, not pain. It's time to cleanse your inner world the way you would clean your home. Regularly, intentionally, thoroughly. Sweep out the resentment, dust off the regrets. Let fresh air into the dark corners of your heart. You are not what happened to you. You are what you're becoming, and you can't become your highest self while holding onto what your old self couldn't handle. Release it. Clean it, and step forward into the life waiting for you on the other side. There's a reason why the journey inward is often the hardest path to walk. It demands honesty, vulnerability, and stillness. The world constantly encourages movement, distractions, noise, and hustle. But true healing, real transformation, begins when you stop and go within. Cleaning your past doesn't happen by keeping yourself busy or pretending everything is okay. It begins in quiet moments of truth, when you admit to yourself that you're tired of carrying things that no longer serve you. Most people live in reaction to their past without realizing it. A certain tone of voice reminds them of an argument they had years ago. Rude Park. A failure in the present instantly triggers memories of when they felt worthless. A healthy relationship is pushed away because it feels too unfamiliar compared to the chaos they once called love. All of this is unconscious. But what is unconscious controls you. To be free, you must bring it to the surface and deal with it. Cleaning the past means recognizing your emotional patterns and tracing them back to their origin. Why do you fear being alone? Why do you always overextend yourself to please others? Why do you find it hard to trust or to feel worthy of love? These aren't random personality traits. They are protective mechanisms rooted in old experiences. But protection can become limitation when it's no longer necessary. And what once helped you survive might now be stopping you from truly living. It's not weakness to examine your wounds. It's strength. It takes courage to say, this still hurts. Or, I haven't let this go. There is power in naming your pain. Because once something is named, it can be addressed. It can be worked with. You no longer have to live in denial or disguise. Through the park, you get to face it with clarity and intention, and that's when true progress begins. A part of cleaning the past is also grieving what could have been. The lost time, missed chances, and unfulfilled expectations. Grief is not just about death. It's about letting go of what never became. Running through the park, and it's okay to mourn the version of life you thought you'd have. But you must not get stuck there. You grieve so you can release. You release so you can rebuild. And rebuilding requires faith, not in the world, but in yourself. Once you commit to this inner work, you'll notice a quiet transformation. You won't get triggered as easily. You'll be more compassionate, both to yourself and others. Your decisions will no longer from fear or avoidance, but from clarity and peace. The reward of cleaning the past, it returns your power, your presence, and your peace of mind. Remember, the goal is not to forget your past, but to find freedom from its grip. To let it inform you, not imprison you. To use it as wisdom, not as a weapon against yourself. Your healing is not a destination, it's a decision made daily. And every day you choose to clean your inner world, you take one step closer to the life you were always meant to live. There will always be moments in life that try to define you. Moments of pain, loss, betrayal, and failure. Those moments do not have the final say. You do. Cleaning your past is about reclaiming that power. Running through the park. It's about realizing that while you cannot change what happened, running through the park, you can absolutely change the meaning you attach to it and how it shapes your future. Running through the park. You are not a victim of your history. You are the architect of your destiny. But first, you must clear the foundation. Every painful experience leaves behind residue. It could be fear, bitterness, guilt, or self-doubt. And if that residue is never clean, it becomes the lens through which you view the world. You begin to expect pain, predict disappointment, and prepare for the worst. Life becomes a cycle of self-protection rather than self-expression. But you weren't created just to survive. You were created to grow through the park, to thrive, and to live fully. And that begins when you make peace with where you've been. Making peace with the past doesn't mean you approve of everything that happened. It means you no longer allow it to steal your joy, your voice, or your vision. It means you take the lessons and leave the rest behind. It means you rise from what tried to break you. Not bitter, but better. This kind of peace cannot be given to you. It must be created within you through reflection, healing, and self-forgiveness. You may wonder, Park, how do I actually clean the past? Start by being honest with yourself. Identify the moments that still carry weight. Who do you need to forgive? Pain have you not acknowledged? What beliefs did you adopt because of someone else's actions? Write them down. Speak them out. Name them, bring them into the light, because nothing heals in the dark. Then, practice stillness. Learn to sit with your emotions instead of escaping them. Feel them fully without judgment. Emotions are not your enemy. They are your messengers. And once they are heard, they begin to quiet. Park. In that quiet, wisdom emerges. You'll start to see how your past shaped you, but you'll also see that it doesn't have to limit you. You are more than the sum of what you've been through over time. As you clean your past layer by layer, you'll notice a shift. Your relationships improve. Your self-talk becomes kinder. Your decisions become more aligned with your values. You begin to live from a place of purpose, not pain. You stop reacting from your wounds and start responding from your wisdom. And most importantly, you begin to feel free. Free to dream again. free to love again, free to be who you are without apology. Is the power of a cleaned past. It gives birth to a new future. So keep going, keep healing, keep cleaning, because the best version of you is not buried in the future. It's buried beneath the weight of the past you are willing to release today.